All right, people, we are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James with Kaelyn, and we are joined with our special guest today, David Mariscal. I say it right?
Sir.
I got it right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, you're going to be fighting next week for the 559 Fights welterweight title. So how long have you – we just started talking this week. I didn't get a chance to bone up on what I needed to. So tell us a little bit more about how you got into the MMA game.
Wow. Well, it all started with the wrestling. I had a couple buddies that were on my wrestling team in high school, and they needed some training partners. They're pretty much stand-up guys, and they needed some training partners, for ground. And I was a pretty good wrestler in high school. I went to state and all that stuff, and they asked me to go in the gym and help them out, and ended up falling in love with it myself. Started putting on gloves, and then started keep training. And then one day they asked me if I wanted to hop in the cage, and I said, hey, why not? Putting in the work, and that's how it all went down.
How long ago was that? When did you start? When was your first fight?
My first fight, I believe, was in 2012. I've been on and off. I've been having layoffs here and there, and just family. I have. Every time I seem like I have two fights, I have a kid. So, I went two fights, and then I found out that my wife's gonna have my daughter, and then I went waited a couple years again, and another two fights, and then I had my son. So it's just, and I'm back again. So hopefully this time the kids.
Nice.
So you've been fighting in amateurs for so long. Why still amateur? Why not go pro?
I tell myself that every time. Like, it's just because I think I keep having layoffs, so I kind of have like a setback. But I think myself I should be in that level of the pro already. But let's see what my coaches say. I'm with a different camp this time around. See what my coaches say after this fight. See if we continue to be amateur, maybe one more, or if not, head on to pros.
Have you always been welterweight?
No, I always fought at 155 actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
Yeah. So
is welterweight a little more comfortable for you?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much no cutting weight, none of that stuff. This is my walk around weight, so. It's kind of better that way. And don't have to worry about so much cutting.
Is this your first title fight, or have you fought for other titles before?
My last fight that I fought in, I believe it was in October 2018. Was a belt, and I won the belt at 155 for Valley Fight Series.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I've been off since then. So been a while. But I've always been back and forth in the gym and stuff like that.
So what do you know anything about the guy you're fighting next week?
Yeah, I heard his name before. I know he's a good opponent. He's durable. He's game, of course. He's been around since I started too. So I just know he's a good opponent. I know he's gonna bring it.
So your base is wrestling, you said? You started out with wrestling?
Yeah, my base was wrestling, yeah. Then as I continued in the sport, I started doing my stand-up. My wrestling's always going to be there. So then I went stand-up, and then now...
What about jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, now I'm in a gym that's it's a jiu-jitsu gym with Marion Renault and Mondo Perez.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trifecta. There you go.
It says on the shirt.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I love it. Mondo's actually my cousin, so he's been training me since I was small. He was my wrestling coach. Him and his brother Jesse always been training me since I was small. So I mean, it's like a family thing. It's just back to when I was a kid again.
Nice.
Yeah. Now so it's lovely there. I love it.
I mean, is this going to be the biggest crowd you've competed in front of? Because this is 559 Fights, and they are known to have huge crowds for 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 a show in general. Are you nervous about it? Are you excited? What are your thoughts?
I'm excited. I mean, I got mixed emotions, excited, nervous. I try not to think about it. Just try to take it as another fight, because I'll start overwhelming myself. I just take it as another fight. I've been in big crowds before. I fought at Thatcher before. I've been most of my fights were with Jeremy with 559 fights. So I have been in big crowds before.
Oh, okay, so you've competed there, so you know what's up.
Yeah. I've been in big crowds before, and I've been in wrestling where I've been in finals. Spotlight on you, everybody's watching you. So I mean, I'm used to stuff like that.
Now, are you going to walk out with your Valley Fight Series title also? Just be like, yeah, I'm draped in gold. What's up?
I thought about it, but no, I'm going to keep that at home. Keep that at home. I'm not that type of flaunting guy. I don't flaunt too much. Just keep it humble. I'm a humble guy, so just keep it normal. Walk out.
So, is fighting a career for you, or is this kind of like a hobby that you want to do on the side to make a little extra money, have some fun?
Well, I do it for fun. I mean, I never got paid for anything, so I mean, this is gonna be my 9th fight. So I mean, I just like in general. I always been, in tough sport, football, wrestling. It's always been tough. I just like the intensity, and I just like to hit.
Now, is it tough juggling the home life, work, and then training for the fights?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it is. I get home, from work, and I'm pretty much beat sometimes. Sometimes I get a little hour nap in, or sometimes I even wake up late to go to the gym, and I walk in, everybody's looking at me like, "Hey, where you been?" I'm still getting the stuff on my eye, but I go in there but yeah, it is tough at times.
Yeah, I remember going to work and just training in general, maybe not for a fight, but just training in general to get to the level that you want to be. Getting off of working, 8 hours, and I would give anything to have that 15-minute nap before I had to go to train. But then it's so dangerous, you fall asleep and you don't want to get up.
Yeah. 15 minutes is so it's a lot.
But I would kill that. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I would kill for that 15 minutes sometimes, and I needed that.
Yeah, I understand that. Sometimes I even do 10,
Yeah, anything.
right before. It's no joke. I mean, I work early in the morning, so and I do 10-hour shifts, so sometimes
man, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a toll on me,
Now you transition from.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, man, go for it. Go ahead.
No, I train 6 days a week, so I mean, it could take a toll on me.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Now you transition from another team to where you're at with Trifecta. How has that difference been from how you were training previously to how you're training now?
I always take fights, I always, want to train 6 days a week and stuff like that. I was before this camp, I was at Team KO. All respects to Team KO. Danny's a great guy, and all the guys over there, they're still my buddies. I have nothing bad to say about them. But I just went with my cousin, my family. Well, it's just a little different. Well, there's more stand up right here. I got more grappling, but I got a little bit more how would you say professional, with Marian and Mondo, and then we get, guys that come in that are pros, get more tips and stuff like that. It's little things that
with some fighters.
Little things that I didn't know, simple little things like, well, hey, I've been doing this wrong the whole time,
Yeah. How many? So you only had that other gym that you trained at, and you just transitioned to Trifecta. Were that the only 2 that you've ever trained at, or did you have to kind of feel a couple gyms out first before you got to where you were?
No, I mean, I cross-trained here and there, but it was just as we go as a team to the different gym and, cross-train. But other than that, no, I always been with KO and I was when they did open up, I was going just for the jiu-jitsu, but now I'm just fully committed at Trifecta.
Since you've been doing jiu-jitsu there, where are you at in jiu-jitsu? What level?
I'm a 2-stripe blue belt.
Nice. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I've trained off and on for quite some time, so I think I'm just always going to just maintain a white belt status. I don't think I'm ever going to move on.
I honestly, I didn't want to move up. I was like, no, keep me at white belt, keep me at white belt. You know, like, no, you're not no white belt. You're not no white belt.
Yo, but they don't know that. Let's just keep it that way.
I tried my hardest.
Have you competed at all in jiu-jitsu? Ever do any tournaments like that?
Yeah, I did. Let's see, 2 tournaments, Jiu-Jitsu World League, Grappling X. You know, so I took one second, and the rest, you know, one first. I don't want to.
Oh, well, nice. What about maybe some Muay Thai or boxing? Ever do any of those amateur fights?
No, none of that. No,
nope.
None of that. No. I you know what? I wanted to get into the boxing amateur, but I just never got a chance to. Never pulled the trigger on that.
It's kind of hard because you know, you want to compete in MMA. You don't want to go off and do a jiu-jitsu tournament or boxing or Muay Thai and end up getting injured and can't do MMA then.
Yeah, because I've been wanting to, like, since I took this fight, I've been wanting to enter some tournaments. I'm like, man, I wanted to get in there, you know, big brackets and stuff like that, but like, no, you can't get hurt.
You never know. It's all of them are a risk. You know, you go to one thing, get injured there, and it prevents you from doing the other thing, you know?
Yeah, so I just kept it, all right, we're going to have this camp and just keep it safe.
Now, do you have any teammates that are fighting as well on this card with you? Or do you have any other teammates that are
No, I know a couple guys that are fighting on there. Like, I know Mark Felix. We used to train together back in the day. He used to be at KO also, so. But yeah, Mark Felix is a good buddy of mine. You know, all respects to him. And I think I'm the only fighter right now representing Trifecta.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, we do have guys in there, but I think I'm the only one representing Trifecta right now.
Now, you've talked about competing locally. Have you competed outside of the 559 area, like further up north or even down south in SoCal?
As in
just
fighting?
Amateur, yeah, just fighting, just MMA.
No, I haven't competed anywhere. Just in the Central Valley, nowhere else. I always took my fights here and at home, basically.
That's one thing I have noticed, at least covering fights as long as I have, is that amateur isn't really a thing outside of this area, outside of the Central Valley, and that includes Bakersfield. For some reason, it seems like that's not really a thing up north and down south. It's just really here is huge.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. You'll be surprised how many people like, hey, like, I train, you know, right here, 559 fights and all that stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really big here.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can understand why you wouldn't necessarily want to go pro, because we still at least have amateur fights going, and you can still compete in that.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes I think about it like, hey, I'm risking my body over here. Like, I need to get something for it.
Maybe get some money for it, huh?
Yeah, I need to get paid for it, man. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's a good idea. Get a couple belts there, and then take that, you know, kind of on your resume and see where maybe you could end up. Has anyone ever contacted you, like any promoters for any of the professional organizations?
At one time, I took a fight where, like, Itachi, it was I think it was number 2 prospects, and I seen I think Richard Goodman again. He was like, hey, you know, whenever you're ready, we'll get you on. But I just never pulled the trigger. You know.
Where would you like to go if you had a choice of what organization professionally would you like to do?
I'm pretty much open. I mean, as long as I, you know, getting paid for what I do. Yeah, so I mean, just to go pro is enough for me. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they bring back Tachi Palace fights. It'd be awesome to see you fight on the pro side of that.
That would be great. I've been to those, countless of those, and you know, I always thought one day I'll be there. You know, so even when I fought Itachi, I was like, hey, I'm fighting Itachi. Like, it's really going on. You know, and, you know, it was great. It was great. Like, that's probably one of the best. One of the best, you know, experience I had fighting. You know, they take care of you and, like, basically treat you kind of like a pro. You know, give us a room. Here you go. You know, this is what you know. We got everything for you. So it was pretty cool. Great experience.
Talking about Tachi. Oh, such good memories.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me too.
Now, all right. During your training camps, do you participate in jiu-jitsu tournaments, or is it just training camp?
No, just training camp. I'm not. We just do it on the safe side, so I won't get hurt or anything like that. And I'm out of the fight or whatnot. So.
Now
how
you
many,
train.
Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna ask,
It's
how many
okay.
weeks out do you do camp or whatever? Some people have an actual camp. Some people just kind of do their own thing still. How many weeks out do you start your training camp for your fights?
So this past one, I'm like I said, I've been in the gym, off and on, but I've always been training, and I want to say I took the fight in December, like mid-December. So since then, it's been like full on fight camp. But other than that, like it was just training. I mean, we do sparring here and there, stuff like that. But this time it's just focus on the fight, what we got to do. So I say about 6-8 weeks. 6-8 weeks.
Okay.
So since you really don't have to cut any weight, are you going to get on the scale with some like Cheetos or like a burger in your hand?
Nah. I just maybe a bottle of water. Maybe I don't know. Throw a sip out.
Come on,
throw
man.
a sip out there.
Live dangerously.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry at all for this weigh-in at welterweight then.
No. Just step on the scale. Come ready to bang them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and pretty much all of my other fights, like man, there's just tough weight cuts, man. Step on the scale, just looking down, like hopefully I make it. It's just tough.
Have you ever into a situation where you weren't quite there and had to re-weigh in?
Not re-weigh in, but there was one where like I had to wake up in the morning and try to run, hit the sauna, do all that good stuff, and it takes a toll, and knowing you have to fight the same day, you don't get no chance to, recuperate or anything like that. So, I mean, it really takes a toll on your body. But ever since that fight, I think it was like my second fight. Ever since that, like I told myself, like it's not gonna happen again. So I gotta make sure I'm on weight the night before, so I could just come in and weigh in.
Now, when you talk about that time between from when you weigh in to when you fight, what do you do? Because you have to you weigh in the same day that you fight, which pros don't, but amateurs you do. So what's that process like?
Like, what's your routine?
My routine is basically just hydrate at first. Get all the fluids back in your body. Eat something light because you don't want to get like big old bloated belly and you're like full of water and big old meal that you're not used to, that you've been starving yourself basically pretty much, and so I tend to try to get fluids in and just eat something healthy, nothing too big, nothing too small, just enough to fuel my body till I feel better. And then I really don't like to eat that much, so not on my fight days.
Well, what about after the fight? Do you like get a whole large pizza and just go, "This is only for me"?
I'm a burger guy, so it's always it has to be a burger. It has to be a burger after a fight. Like every fight I think I took down a big old burger.
Is there a specific burger place that you would go to?
Well, usually it's always late, so it'll be Denny's.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know what? They make a pretty solid burger. I won't lie about that. I've had many burgers from there.
I'll even tell, hey, extra patty, throw extra patty on.
How does your family feel about fighting? Are they very supportive, or are they just kind of iffy about it? I know.
Oh, they're supportive. The only one that has a problem is, of course, my mom. I mean, she always gets nervous, but that's her mom's for, worry about their.
Do they go and
yeah, everybody goes. Yeah, my kids actually attend too, so everybody pretty much goes. My whole family goes. My brothers.
Are they frightened to see dad fight, or are they like kick his ass?
Oh, they pretty much get nervous. I have an older son that he gets nervous, and he knows I'm gonna do good, but he still just gets nervous, just go in there, dad. Do your best. You know, just stop with that. So, yeah,
How old is he?
that's what I do. Right now, he's gonna be 17 actually this month.
Oh, so he knows what's going on. He's
Yeah,
he knows
oh
what's
yeah,
up.
he's big.
All
Yeah,
right.
he knows what's going on. And
Does
my
he have any
daughter's
interest?
she's 8.
Does he have any
Huh?
interest in some training or learning? How to
I had him in wrestling. He don't like it, so I mean, I try not to push him. You know, it's whatever he likes is let him do what he wants.
Did anybody
Yeah.
push you to maybe do that, or is this kind of a thing you thought of on your own, or does it run in the family type of thing?
For it kind of ran in my family. Like all the boy cousins wrestled at least one time.
Wrestling, okay.
So like me being the smallest boy out of the whole family, like I seen my cousins, you know, wrestling, and they took it like very serious. So like I just looked up to them, like, oh, you know, those are like my idols, you know. So like I pushed myself to be like them and to be, you know, try to be better than them, you know. And I almost got there. Yeah. So
Now, in your fights, you know, you have the wrestling base. Has that benefited you the most, or have you had mostly striking wars or grappling situations? Do you feel like wrestling has suited you the best, or was there something you thought you should have gotten into to have your base for your MMA background?
wrestling hands down. Yeah, I that has bailed me out numerous times. I mean, sometimes you can't stop a takedown. I mean, if you're going against a really good wrestler, I mean, if you know what they're doing, you can take them to the ground. I mean, and if you have a little bit of jiu-jitsu background, you know, that's where they're going to stay.
If you don't mind me asking, what is your record?
An amateur?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-2.
Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
6-2. Yeah.
So were those decisions, submissions, KOs?
One of them. I mean, one of them was a fight I took on. I want to say like a 2-hour notice.
Ooh.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the guys.
How did that go?
So that's how you know I like to fight. So what happened was I guess the guy that I went against, his opponent didn't show up at weigh-ins. So they're like, well, you know, I was out the gym already. I was, you know, found out my girl was gonna have my daughter, so I stopped training. You know, I was just at home, and I was actually watching. I always tell the story because they're like, "Wow, you know, that's crazy." I was watching Little League World Series. I was watching Mexico play Japan. And I was eating Chinese food. And I was pretty big at the time. So
international.
So yeah, so I was pretty big at the time. And the guy, his opponent didn't come in. He was fighting at 185. So they called. I guess they knew somebody. That, let's call David to see if he wants to take the fight.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm sitting on my couch watching this baseball, and they're like, I get this call, and it's, you know, my old coach, and I answer. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, what are you doing? And I was telling him what I was doing. He's like, hey, well, you want to fight today? I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, fight. You know, some guy didn't make weigh-ins, and I mean, some guy didn't come to weigh-ins, and, you know, see if you want to fight. So I go, man, I thought about it. Let me call you back. All right. And I hung up, and then I looked at my son. I told him, his name is David too. So I told David, what do you think? Should I fight? He's like, yeah, Dad, fight. Like, all right.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So then I called him back, and then that's how it went down. I told him, yeah, I'll go right now. So went in there, weighed in, made weight, and had to go pick out some fight shorts, and got ready that day. And it was a learning experience. I shouldn't have done that, you know, but
that's crazy.
That's
kind of cool though. Oh
yeah, that's how much I like to fight. Like I like it. So I shouldn't have done it.
Were you in any shape to actually take a fight, or
no?
You're just
I
like,
was out
let's
of
see what
training.
happens?
I was wondering.
Like 4 months or 3 months. Like I didn't do nothing.
Dude, what?
You're all, let me polish off this orange chicken and I'll do it. I'm gonna beat his head in.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but I lost the decision, and like I said, it wasn't a decision I should have taken. Like, you know, I should have been listening like everybody else. So like, hey, dude, like, It's not good. You know, my cousin, my actually coach now, my cousin Mondo, he was like, "Hey, don't take the fight. Don't take the fight." And I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna take the fight. You know, I'll be all right. I'll be all right." And that's what happened. That's how I got one of the losses. The other loss was I got caught in the armbar. It was a submission. So I mean, I should have. It should. If you see the video, I kind of like knocked the guy out and woke him back up, and then got caught with an armbar.
Oh.
But you know, I can't. You know, he showed up and did his thing and took it as a loss.
That's crazy how that
are my
can
two
happen.
losses.
You're ready for a fight and it goes that way, but you could be sitting on your couch eating and take a fight and then have it go to all the way to a decision.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy how that works.
It was crazy.
I'm just wondering how rough that is.
It was pretty rough. I was pretty gassed in there. That's why I said like I'll never do it again. So learning experience. Lesson learned.
Completely understand that. Wow.
That's a cool story, Alec. That's cool.
That really is.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down.
That's funny.
2 losses, and that's one of them. It's like whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like just a old school MMA story. I love it.
It wasn't a fight. I mean, it wasn't a weight that I fight at. So all my other fights have been at 155. So that was at 185. Yeah.
So
yeah.
What I'm wondering is, okay, for that fight, you weren't really training, you weren't in any type of mode for it, but yet you made weight. So did they adjust the weight because you were willing to take the fight on 2 hours notice, or how did that work?
I was actually up there in weight. I gained a lot of weight at the time. So I think I weighed in like at 79 or 80, something like that. Oh. And he was right on. So yeah. So, and then I wasn't doing any type of exercise or anything like that. I mean, I was eating Chinese food.
I'm curious why they even called you,
right?
Like
because they knew I would take the fight. They know how I am.
That'll say yes.
They'll just call David. He likes
to do crazy shit. Let's call him.
Yeah. I kind of knew, like, oh, what's he calling me for? So it was kind of crazy. It was a good experience. Learning.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Probably the glitch there. So that was a good learning experience, and it won't happen like that again.
Oh man! Now you've been training for this fight. You already have a title. It's for another title, and you've talked about going pro shortly after. But if you were offered another fight in a different promotion for a title, would you accept that?
Like I said, it's up to my coaches. My cousin is the one that's telling me what's best for me right now. I'll just leave that up to him. He's like I said, he's been training me since I was a little kid, so he knows what I can do, and I'll just leave it up to him. I mean, he's my coach. So, is this going to be a main event, or is this one of many titles that they have going on that night? I think that night, I think there's going to be like 3 titles. I think I'm the first one, so I'm before the co-main.
Wow, and then so is your fight 5 rounds?
No, it's 3. 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
I knew of another title that was going to be up for grabs, but I didn't realize there were going to be 3 title fights. Damn. People go see these fights, dude. 559 Fights is legit. They put it down.
Yeah, they do.
And you're fighting Caleb Tempas.
Yes.
Tom had him on his show yesterday, and we have you. So I'm glad we were able to get you on today to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I've always wondered, because I've been to the Visalia Convention Center. It's not the biggest venue, but it's a good venue. For anyone who's ever seen a fight there, it's a great venue for a fight because there's not a bad seat in the house.
There isn't. You could walk in there and be all good.
Exactly.
Wow. I see. That's a good thing to know with my family. My family's, I need to get there early. I haven't been to any.
No, man. You could just walk in and you could just stand and see. It's good to sit down.
It's a great venue for fights.
But you won't miss anything, though, that's for sure.
That's perfect.
Now, okay, since
That's
you've
good to
never been there, because I was curious, what's the back like? How does that look? Because I'm used to Tachi. I've been to Eagle Mountain where they've just had a basically a tent set up, and so I was curious, but since you don't know, like, can't answer my question, so I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I mean, they're all pretty much the same. Usually, they just have like it could be just like a backdrop, separating the two sides, the red and blue side, and
Yeah.
But I think at the convention center, you're on opposite sides of the building, maybe.
I don't think the building. I think there's separate. There is separate locker rooms, but I imagine being in two different areas, not necessarily like you're at the north end and you're at the south end.
It's not that big of a place.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, I mean, I've been there. I just haven't been to a 559 fights event there. I've been to the convention center and events there, but I just never.
The last one I went to, it wasn't a 559. It was a, I think it's LFA.
Yeah.
It's an LFA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was a good show. That was a really good show. They did a really good job. They had Gilbert Melendez was commentating on that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool to see him there, and a lot of the, I wouldn't want to say locals, but Uriah Faber was there. He had a bunch of guys fighting there also.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
That was a good show. That would also be a good promotion. If you do decide to go pro, that would be a really good one because I think it's pretty close of the type of competition that you're already used to, but a little bit bigger. You get to see those guys that you are used to seeing in the corners, at UFC or retired MMA fighters that you know of. And you can also soak up a lot of information from them too, because they're pretty nice guys. They will talk to you and they'll give you the time.
Yeah. That's cool. I if I'm not mistaken, I was supposed to fight on a pro-am card for LFA one time. There at the convention center also. I think this was back in 2016, but like I said, there's always family stuff that it gets in my way, and
kids.
I couldn't take the fight. I think it was I had just started a new job, and I didn't want to lose the job, and I couldn't get the day off, so I just kind of let that.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do for work right now?
I actually work at a place under Western Milling. They make minerals and vitamins for animal feed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
now
what I do.
Wow, I just had a thought and I lost it. That happens when you get old. Remember, folks, don't get old. Just remember that. No, what are some of your goals like after this fight? Let's just move past this fight real quick. What is your goal after this fight? Like to do in MMA?
Well, eventually, turn pro, but as in like just training in general, my goal is to one day be a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. I mean, that's like a long-term goal for me. So,
I mean, you're on your way. You've already got, you got the blue. So you're getting there.
I think you're almost at purple. I guess you could say that.
Midway, you could say, yeah.
I don't know. I know some people, I believe, I don't know. And I'm not an expert on jiu-jitsu at all, but I do.
Oh, no, we know.
I feel like a blue belt, you're kind of a blue belt maybe longer than the other ones. I kind of feel like, 'cause I feel like I see blue belts.
Yeah. I've been a blue belt for some time.
But they're just so comfortable there and they excel as a blue belt, and then they can compete or roll with purple belts, and they're right up there. So I think the blue belt's like a really good spot to like get comfortable and see what you can do at that level. And then once you get to purple, it's like, oh God, we got that stress again. We're at another level. You get to compete with those guys now.
Yeah. I remember when I first got my blue belt, it seemed like I had a big old target on my back. Like everybody wanted to roll with me. Like, dang man, like I was just a white belt last week. Why everybody want to beat me up? Why everybody want to beat me up now?
White belt.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's my goal one day to be a black belt, So I mean, even if I don't continue fighting, I'm still gonna go in the gym and do jiu-jitsu and compete in tournaments.
So, now, coming up, were there any fighters that you looked up to or you tried to model your style after?
I always been watching UFC. I have a lot of fighters I used to look up to. I like you mentioned one, Uriah Faber. He was one of mine. I went to a wrestling camp in high school, and he was a counselor when he was in UC Davis wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was right there, and then that's when I kind of seen like the MMA was getting bigger because like at the time we're in a cabin. It was like a week camp, and we're like up in Squaw Valley, and he was like, "Hey, on you guys' free time, I'm gonna be in the room and showing my fights." And I didn't think about anything yet, but and then time went on, and I'm like, "Hey, I just seen that guy, a couple years ago. He was showing them some fights, It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy." But yeah, Uriah Faber's one. I have numerous. Like one of my favorites always been is Robbie Lawler. I just like his style of fighting, pretty straight up. Pretty straight up.
Yeah, I like that era of. I mean, I'm talking about UFC. I know those guys were fighting well before UFC, but I just gotten into watching MMA like around that time when those guys were real big. I kind of missed that. I know it's a completely different story now. They have a huge roster of fighters that are just as good now, but I kind of missed those fights with those guys, with Uriah Faber, Robbie Lawler, Robbie McDonald. So I that's what got me into it. I was just thinking about that today. What do you watch UFC like religiously, or is it kind of like a pastime type thing?
Yeah, I watch it religiously. I tend to watch it every time. Like tomorrow I'll be watching the fights.
Now, is it different because you're a fighter? So when you watch it with people and you're like, "Oh, well, yeah, I do that."
Sometimes they're like, "Oh man, I don't know how they do it," or stuff like that. And I'm like, "Dude, you don't even understand. Like, just to walk to the caves, like, it's nerve wracking at times, and and then sometimes when you get in there, you're like, okay, I trained all this stuff, and it just goes blank, like goes out the door.
It leaves your head. It just leaves your body.
Yeah, it's like
you're like,
sucks. Yeah, it does happen, but you just gotta compose yourself and hey, stick to the game plan. This is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, and then once you get hit in the face, and you're like, okay, now I remember.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Now, how often when you guys are in there mixing it up, do you ever talk smack?
No, I never talk smack. I'm not that type of person like to talk smack or anything like that, or even at weigh-ins. Like I'm very humble. Like there's times where people, they weigh in and they get in your face at weigh-ins. Like, dude, like we're gonna get it on later, dude. Like, relax. Yeah. I mean, I understand. Like it's all part of the fights and all that stuff. But like, I'm pretty much humble. I don't talk no smack or anything. I mean, we're gonna handle it in the cage. So.
Yeah, so how do you feel about that? Do you enjoy? I know nowadays, UFC, Bellator, people I feel like try to create that drama because they think it's going to sell the fight, and normally it does. But and then there's these other fighters that don't choose not to do that because that's not who they are. They're humble, which I respect way more. I find it irritating the people that try to instigate things that are, needless. And I forgot, who was it? The guy at the weigh-in. Oh, Jeremy Stevens. He ended up shoving his opponent at weigh-ins.
Oh, yeah. And then the dude fight.
I'm like, man, you just ruined the fight because you just did something stupid like that. Just to try to get attention or something, I don't like it. How do you feel about that?
Like I said, I know some of it's, to sell the fight. I understand that. But like, I'm like a humble person, Hey, looking, face off, shake hands, hey, good luck, handle it in the cage. It's all gonna get settled either way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's just me right there.
We're a week out. You really don't have to you don't have to weight cut. So what is your diet like? Are you eating light foods? Are you just I know you're not just eating whatever. So what is in your nutrition on the way up to the fight?
No, I just try to keep it healthy. I don't eat till where I'm like, oh, I'm full. I just eat enough to get me through,
Do you even have to diet? I mean, do you have to? Like,
I diet.
Certain foods, like of course you need to eat all, your veggies and stuff like that. Do you have like specific ones that you stick to every single time, or it's like whatever you feel like?
I've pretty much been on a diet since I want to say October. So I mean, I just stuck to it. I didn't change anything up. But yeah, I do eat, everything grilled, nothing fried.
Right. Yeah.
Meats, chickens, turkeys. I just don't keep it too high up there or anything like that. I just keep it simple. Yeah. Nothing crazy.
All right. We have a question from Joe Padilla asking, when are you fighting? The fight's going down next Friday in Visalia at the Visalia Convention Center. 559 fights. It's a week from today. So
what's up, Joe? I know Joe.
Thank you for the question, Joe. We appreciate that. Now, I always talk up 559 fights. I feel like it's a great promotion, and thank you for coming on. We appreciate that. And you're going to be watching the fights tomorrow. Do you have a pick for the main event?
No, I don't. I like the pay-per-view. It's more better, but I just like
the pay-per-views are amazing cards. This is just a fight night. I know that sounds like bad. Like, oh, it's just a fight night.
I don't want to talk down or anything like that. But no, I just watch the fights. I just watch the fights.
Same here. But I will say this though: when they do a pay-per-view, they stack those cards.
Yeah.
So do. like the heavyweight fight, like, come on now, like you're not going to see a great heavyweight fight like that on a fight night card. Nobody's defending a belt
on fight night cards.
That'd be awesome. But you're not seeing somebody defend a belt on a fight night card.
Yeah, that won't happen. But I did see a good stacked fight night card before. I can't recall which one, but I seen a good fight card before.
Yeah,
they have presented solid cards. Yes.
Like even the early prelims, you'll have all finishes. Not one person is talking about it, and they're like really good fights. Then you get a main event that maybe doesn't really go, that isn't too entertaining, and then everyone's upset. And I'm like, well, you should have been watching it at 3:00 then, because they had nothing but finishes.
Sometimes it's hard to watch those too.
It's hard to catch them, and they don't advertise them very well either. They actually don't say anything about them at all. As far as the fighters on there, they'll mention the prelims, and then of course their main card. They get real into it, but man, I feel like you have to
look that up on the early prelims.
Early prelims, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, is there anybody that you've been training with or seen locally that you're impressed by that you feel like could be, it's being on the right track could be up there?
No, not that I can think of right now. I just been training with the guys that come around the gym. Most of them they're already pros and stuff like that. So, or they haven't fought in a while. But
do you see Marion Renault quite a bit, or is she not really involved?
I see her every day.
Oh, okay.
Monday through Saturday, I see her.
I hope so. That's her gym. She better be there all the time.
Well, that's what I don't know. Some people open a gym and you don't see them. They
that's
have other coaches taking care of it.
Like Josh Koscheck over in Fresno.
Yeah. But no, she's there Monday through Saturday.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I see her every day. Every day I go to the gym.
I see her. Drilling and teaching.
Yeah, she's our instructor.
Okay. That's cool.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Your boy Joe had another question. He said, David, what weight are you fighting at? He's fighting at welterweight. That's what the belt he's going for. So there you go, Joe. Looking out.
170, JoJo.
There you go.
Well, he wasn't sure. Sometimes you fight at like 180 and stuff.
Hey, I know. Like, he fights all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
Offer some Chinese food.
That won't happen again. I'll tell you that. That won't happen again. I'll tell you that.
Now, okay. So, you talked about burgers, but I mean, you told me a story about Chinese food. So I feel like after one of your victories, you should just go get Chinese food. If Panda's open, just go hit them up.
Make or have
some, you know what? Somebody can DoorDash it. There you go.
There you go. Huh? Be ready.
Oh man, is there anybody you want to shout out right now? I mean, we've been picking your brain the whole time and talking to you about this stuff. Is there anybody you want to give some love to or some shouts out to, some sponsors or anything like that?
Just my whole gym in general. Marian, my cousin Mondo Perez, Evan Solario, who's been there. Mosco, he's been there too a couple times. Just everybody in my gym in general, they've been helping me out. Pato, he's been helping me with rolling too. So, just everybody at my gym, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, you've been competing for so long. Is there advice that you now would tell yourself back when you were first starting? What if there was a piece of advice, what would it be?
No shortcuts. No
right.
shortcuts. I would always try to find a way. Like maybe if I do this different, never worked out.
You're like, no, you just got to work harder.
Yeah, just work harder. No shortcuts. Yeah, no shortcuts.
Right. Kaelyn, is there anything else you want to ask our guest?
I don't think so. I think I've covered what I wanted to know. Yeah, no, I think that's it for me. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah, nope, that's it.
All right. Like I said, folks, you can catch David fighting next week for the vacant 170 title, welterweight, at 559 Fights in Visalia. It's going to go down. I keep saying it. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it over and over. Great promotion. They do big things. They're the best promotion in the Valley going right now. So go check them out. Go see David fight. Come on. And they're almost sold out. So if you're going to buy a ticket, buy it now. It's payday. Yeah. I got paid today.
Yeah, today.
I imagine a lot of people got paid. So go get your tickets. All right, David, thank you for joining us. And that's going to do it for us at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. And you know what? We'll see you guys next time.
All right. You guys have a good one. Thank you.